Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Imperium Goddess Diaries. I am in nature today. A little bit, something a little bit different, change up the vibes, switch it up, get you guys, get you guys keen. Anyway, today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the language of the 3D. And this is something that I have come to realize, maybe in the past year or so, probably a little bit less actually. And it's also to do with like in the realm of manifestation as well. So we're going to get started because I'm just going to ramble. So I know there's a lot of manifestation people out there who are kind of well versed in this and really preach it and believe it, and it is true. It does happen. Now, I was trialing the methods. I can't tell you how many methods that I've trialed over the years. Like there was only one time that it really worked for me, and I'm gonna bring that back into it. What the reason why? Because when you sit there and you go, okay, I'm gonna think better thoughts. Okay, I'm going to start to, change my frequency and everything. And sometimes that is just not overly accessible for everyone. That is not something that we can access because we have limiting beliefs and we have inherited beliefs and we have, experiences that hold us in a certain level of frequency where we're undeserving of something or someone as well. So a lot of the time, you can feel really, really disheartened by the manifestation world. And it's become to a point a little bit commercialized, but spirituality realm, all of this sort of realm is becoming a lot more prevalent for everyone. So yes, in some ways it's commercialized, or is it just more accessible? Now it's not as like hidden away, it's not just like a little group of individuals doing it. It's a vast, larger group of people who are acting with it. So that being said, I find there's a lot of things online. They do say similar things, and they say, think better thoughts, change your frequency, do visualization meditations, write your affirmations, and then that's it. So I tried a lot of that for many, many years, and a lot of the times it didn't work. And the only reason why it didn't work is because I didn't know this one specific thing. I just didn't grasp one specific thing. And so I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He does say a lot of things along the lines of like, you changing the frequency and you do think differently. And while that really does help, what you need to realize is that you are not going to get anything you want without actually taking action. Action is the language of the 3D. It is the only way that you're going to be able to create something is through doing the thing or doing the things that get you into the frequency, into the vibes of getting the things that you want. That's literally what it is. So when I first started doing all of this work, and it was a fair few years ago, and there was a time when I was like manifesting things really, really easily, but because not only was I in the frequency of knowing that I can get it, I was actually just doing things to get myself into a spot where that would come. And that's when things start to come easily. So in a lot of the time, I don't know if you guys know this a specific person. He's not really a person. He's an ET. He's called Bashar, and he's channeled by a guy by the name of Daryl Anchor. And he talks a lot about manifestation in the way of like chasing your highest excitement, doing the things that bring you the most excitement in the moment, and that gets you into alignment of the other things that you want or the other things that you didn't realize that you asked for. I mean, how many times have you just thought, oh, could really do with, like a coffee or something. And then all of a sudden you'll be heading to the shops, you'll forget about it, and then someone gives you a free one or something along the lines of that. Things like that happen all the time. And they happen because also you let go of the idea of it, which is like another attachment thing that I'm still working through. And a lot of times it has worked for me when I have let go. But I'll get into that in a later part of the video. But what it is that you're putting yourself in situations where it actually can happen for you. And a lot of the times things will happen to you randomly, you won't even know, but you're not just sitting at home and going, love, my life's coming, I deserve it. Or, oh my God, I'm just going to get like this like money, but I'm not going to go out and work for it or do anything about it or just put any action in towards, I'm just going to get it. And it's like, a lot of the time, I'm sorry, but a lot of the time that doesn't happen unless you're actually doing the fucking work for all the other things that you're doing. If you were literally sitting at home and just writing affirmations out all the time, blindly convincing yourself without working on any of the other shit like limiting beliefs that you have, it's not going to fucking work. And you sit there and you're just going to get really tumbled in it. And part of the reason why you get tumbled in it is because I'm going to believe in this and I'm going to run to this when I'm feeling scared and I've got scarcity. It is massive. I've noticed massive within myself over the years, and I pinpoint this, and I don't really do this as much anymore, which because I'm like coming out of that, is that I will run to a meditation. I used to run to meditations, tapping, whatever, journal when I was feeling scarcity. Okay, I don't feel good about where I'm at. I don't have what I want, and I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to like journal it, and it's going to come. And it's just like it's the lack though. It's the lack that's still prevalent in the mind. I don't have it. I'm going to write about it because I don't have it. Okay, what are you going to do to get it? You know what I mean? Like, it's the esoteric realm. Like, I love it, and I live in that world quite often. But I'm like, okay, like let's become a little bit more like grounded in the body, because we have come here to be grounded in the body. We came here to be a fucking human with powers that we have inherited or we've got from source, from our soul. Let's use it. It's going to take a little bit longer because this is 3D. This is physical reality. Physical reality takes a bit longer than everything else. All the other realms, like if you've done any past life regressions, or if you know that you're of star being, you knew you used to get things like this, and that, like, that's, while that's fun, it's not fun anymore when you're here. Because, what I mean by that, you're meant to experience the lag, because we're meant to like experience what it's like to work for it, or to experience the time that it gets to get to you. So my biggest thing is taking action into the things that you want. And you don't have to say, for example, if you want a specific kind of role in your job, if you wanted to create a business for yourself, it's like, what are you doing each day to try and get there and to help yourself get there? I've got bugs everywhere, but that's okay. I've got like an ant on my tripod now. I wonder if it's going to come over. What are you doing to get yourself into the state where you're going to be in the frequency of receiving? You are not going to get fucking not one thing from the universe if you're not in the frequency of getting it. You're not. And it's been said so many times. Like, if you wish for something so bad, it's a big, big goal, and you're like, oh, I want to like have $1 billion. And your whole like nervous system, your subconscious is like, babe, it's like not going to happen. It's like taking the steps to get yourself into a place where you're going to start to understand what it's like to receive it. Because when you start getting those little rewards from the universe, and you start working on things, and you start getting little gifts, and gifts will come, like that random money that you get, like when you're sitting at home, you'll get that because you've put in all the work on this other area of your life. You're tuning into your highest excitement. Tuning into your highest excitement gets you in such a state. It could be anything during the day. It could be like, you could read a couple of pages of this particular book, and you can like make this piece of content, and you could work on this part of your business, or you can maybe even have a nap. It's whatever. That's what Bashar says. Whatever leans into your highest excitement, that gets you into the state where exactly you need to be, and then also things start to happen for you in the most random ways, and it's quite beautiful. It's really cool when it works out that way, and I've noticed that a lot when I've adapted the method of taking action. It's so important. If you want a certain thing, you take action to go and get it. Because one other thing I do need to talk about is also what you say. Now, our language, the person that we want to be, we do have to shift the language into being that kind of person. And that comes down to words as well. One of the factors comes down to words. So the word spell, words are magic, words are vibration. What you say will happen. You want to self-deprecate, if you want to put yourself down, if you want to, talk shit, if you want to just make yourself like, just point out all the bad things that you do, you're just going to keep seeing it. You're just going to keep seeing it. It's just like, that's what it is. And even if you, to a point, you really believe that, at least stop your fucking whinging. Just stop whinging. I understand things can get really difficult, and they have for many, many people in this world. And this is only the video for the people who are living normally, living in this sort of way. People who are living in terrible situations around the world, I'm not really talking to these people at this point in time, because that would make me really insensitive, and that would make me disassociated from reality of what's going on in certain parts of the world right now. This is for your everyday people who are not going through some sort of extreme traumatic experience, because you do have the right to feel a certain way about it. That is not discrediting your experiences throughout life. But if you are sitting in victim mode, all the time and you're complaining about what you don't have, what you don't experience, what everyone else experiences. I've had friends who you watch them and you were like the poster girl for like victim mode. You know what I mean? You're the poster girl for everything shit happens to you because you're just doing the wrong thing for you, not for anyone else, for you. Continuously complaining, living in lack, wondering why you don't have the thing that you want, not taking active change, active steps, active healing. What do you think is going to happen? What do you actually think is going to happen? Things are going to like culminate for you beautifully? No, they're not. And this is probably one of those realest videos to do with manifestation that you will ever listen to because I've lived it in a really different way, different to the way that we've seen it before. And when I started taking some radical responsibility and steps to my business, to the things that I wanted out of life, that's when things started shifting. It wasn't me changing my thoughts. My thoughts really changed through my actions. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to force myself to do these things, and that's going to change and shift my thoughts because I'm seeing it in the physical. It's hard when you're sitting in here, and I'm a very mental person as well. Like I sit in the mind a lot. But the mind only knows what the mind has experienced, and we keep like apart from if I'm channeling, I'm circulating the same thoughts and the same things and the same experiences that we've lived for however many years we've been on this earth time in this particular lifetime. But that's all it knows. So if I'm experiencing new things, it's going to understand new things, and then I'm going to get ideas for new things and start taking action for new things, and they'll hit different vibrations of things, and I will start to receive the things. I'm saying things a lot, but do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yes, you know what I mean. So another thing that I wanted to talk about was like this. I don't know what to call it. I don't know if it's like a thing that I should call it something or it has a name. Let me know if it does. But it's just like it's like a scarcity trap a little bit. And hello, Ibis. There's like an army of them over there, just fucking doing what they want to do. I love that for them. You guys go. If it's like a scarcity trap, so when things go good, and you're getting all of these, manifestations, and it's in fruition, and it's so fun, and it feels so good, and you're like, I am like just on top of the universe, and then all of a sudden 1 week, you go back to like your old scarcity moments again, and you get trapped in the head. You're like, oh my god, it's like not working anymore. Oh my god, like things aren't working out for me anymore. Like what am I going to do? Oh my god, and you forget. I do this. I forget the feeling that I had the week before. It's almost like that feeling is like a distant memory for me. I had no like recollection of that feeling, and I'm trying to channel it as best as I can. But that is because there's some wounds that I still haven't come through and healed through yet. That's all it is. So it's all about how you react to a situation. You react to something that, like not getting what you want or not getting your way, and the way that you notice yourself is this is shadow work, and the way that you notice yourself is like, okay, this part of me still needs to heal. Who are you when things don't go your way? Who are you when you're not getting what you want? Exactly. So that's also another part of shadow work, is looking at yourself when things don't go your way. And then I get this, like, I've had this before, I get this scarcity trap. It's just like, oh my god, like I need to, oh my god, I need to do this, I need to do this, and also like you're almost like stuck in it. So you're almost like in a little bit of a bad, like, not bad, but it's almost like another like lower vibrational sort of mindset, and you're like, I'm not getting what I want, I'm not getting my way, and it's almost like you just don't know how to get out of it. But then I'll reflect and go, what actions have I taken this week? Or have I just been fucking around during the week? What have I been doing? Nothing. In comparison to the weeks when things were happening with more, more vibrancy, and think I was attracting more things. What was I doing? I was doing a lot more than this. I was focusing on the right things more. So that is an interesting thing. So I sometimes look back and forth between this, and I don't know if anyone else does the same thing. And I don't know if there's like a name for it, but it's like a scarcity trap, and you get out of it, you're like, everything's so good, and then you get back into it, you're like, everything's wrong, but it's not. There's just parts of you that you haven't really healed yet, that scarcity that you haven't healed. And I just thought about this, I also would say is to write down the feelings that you get when you're in that high vibe state. So when you're feeling good and everything's manifesting, and you're writing down the way that you're feeling, the way that you're thinking. So it's a really good way for you to go back when you're feeling in those weeks of lack, or months or days of lack, and you're feeling a little bit, go back to those notes and go, what was I doing? How was I feeling? Journal those weeks, journal those days. What vibration was I in? What was I aligning with? Was I in the present moment, or was I thinking in the past, or was I thinking in the future? It's just all of those things that you need to look at. And also, were you aligning to what you want out of life? Are you taking that inspired action? Or you just like mucking around and finding out. I don't think there's anything else for me to say in this video, but I think this just kind of like came out. Oh, one thing I do want to say is was speaking to my auntie the other day, and she said this really cool thing to me. She's like, frequency is what we frequently see. Cool, right? So we frequently see it in our mind. We frequently see it, out in our 3D. But I think it's more in the mind thing. So frequency is where you frequency in the mind is what you believe about yourself, is what you will continue to cultivate and manifest in your daily life. Whereas, like, I think if you frequently see yourself doing the things that you want to do and then taking action towards the things that you want out of life, that's the frequency, and you'll frequently see that in your life. Just some parting words for you all. So linking back a while ago when I was manifesting really well, and that was because I was in a complete flow state and doing the things that led me to the manifestations that I wanted. It was so easy for me many years ago to manifest. And I used to manifest really easily when I was younger, before my proper awakening. It was my awakening when I started struggling with manifesting. How funny is that? Because I was aware of all my subconscious thoughts, beliefs, and whatnot. And it was interesting because when I knew about manifestation back then, which was like what I thought spirituality was, I was like manifestation like a king. I was like, oh my God, I'm just getting everything. I was coming at me from all angles. I was getting everything that I wanted because I didn't know any of my subconscious. I didn't understand all of it. So I was just living in the flow state, but when I look back and reflect, I was taking all the inspired action to get there. I was getting myself in the state of like, I'm going to go after this. I'm going to get this what I want. And because of the power that I had behind the determination, I put myself into the frequency of receiving that. Something really cool to think about. It's cool to look back in parts of your life and you're like, how did I manifest all these things? What have I been doing? How does this all work? And realize how much you've actually manifested and how many things that has come into your life, and it's exactly what you wanted. And you're like, oh my God, it must be coincidences. And now we're just like, coincidences don't exist. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And me and nature. I was snowballing while I was doing this video. I wrote down a few notes and then I just kind of like came out. But I think that's like how it's always meant to be, just a little bit creative. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, obviously. And I'll see you guys next week.